Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hang on. Do I really need to say this every time I do a video? I need a new catchphrase. Anyway, I'm Little Zebras, welcome back to my channel, and the time has come to declare Veni, Vidi, Vici. Yes, today's video is a quick, too long didn't read look at the patch notes, which should have went live around 30 minutes ago, if I've got my timings okay. But then this is me, and I am known for being very late. Anyway, getting back on topic, I'm not going to go into too much detail, or at least I hope I'm not going to go into too much detail for everything in the patch notes. Rather, I'm going to talk about and outline the main points, get a little bit of information, and provide my thoughts while playing a compilation of me getting sunklots in the background. Anyway, enough blabbering from me, let's jump in. The update is scheduled to go live from 8 AM UK time, or 7 AM UTC on Monday the 31st of August, with the servers being scheduled to be down for around 3 hours to roll out the 2.5 GB patch. This is in fact one of the largest patches we've had, and that serves to point out that there's a lot in this update, so there's a lot to cover. First up, we have obviously the Regia Marina cruisers, or Italian cruisers, which in a break from tradition will be a mix of researchable and early access ships. The researchable component will feature the Tier 1 and Tier 2 ships Vici and Taranto respectively. You'll be able to obtain these two almost immediately with a few games played in the Tier 1 before moving to Tier 2. The early access component, e.g. the ones which can only be obtained through crates for this update, are the Tier 3 through 6 ships, with those being Alberto di Giussano, Raimondo Montecacoli, Trento and Zara. As with all early access ships since the Russian update, if you get one of these ships in to drop in a crate, they'll provide a personal mission. There's no confirmation as to what exactly the reward for that mission is, but if it follows a similar pattern to the French, US light cruisers and Russian lines, it'll likely to have some doubloons and some promotion orders in as well. General traits for the Italians are that they are very fast, but they are also fairly lightly armoured. They do, however, feature powerful torpedo armaments and powerful 203mm guns at the higher tiers. Remember though, if you're expecting the PC traits, then you will be disappointed. Sadly, the Italians have arrived without these trademark characteristics, and they will not feature their semi-armed piecing rounds or their exhaust smoke, although these may come later according to the wargame. They do, however, feature a normal smoke screen. The T7 cruiser Amalfi, as always, is not available, but will be available to research along with the early access ships in the following update. Very quickly here, although Wargaming probably won't admit to it, I suspect this line has been severely hampered by COVID-19 and having to develop a game remotely. It would be useful if they just came out and said that, but this is Wargaming, so I don't have very high hopes on that aspect of transparency. What we do know though is that the Italians will be coming with AP and HE, and as I just noted beforehand, they will get a standard smoke screen, so you will be able to make use of some smoke. Onto the campaign. Well, we all know that Roma wasn't built in a day, but what would the pasta fleet be without a pasta flagship to accompany it? This elegant beast sails into Legends at Tier 7 as part of the Veni, Vidi, Vici 100 level campaign. She features 3 triple 381mm guns which have good turret traverse, although they are lacking accuracy and are more akin to the Germans at range, but getting to mid-range and utilising her X 40% damage reduction on torpedoes will make her a force to be reckoned with. The Vici's current crates all feature as rewards for the campaign as per normal. The campaign itself is 5 weeks long with a gradual increase in difficulty curve, and we return to the community format where the weekly havocs will be available each week and can be completed right up to the end of the final week. No more being locked into doing it each week or repetitive missions. Sadly, because Wargaming apparently doesn't trust the CCs to not cut and paste their advanced copy of the patch notes and distribute it around the web, I wasn't able to add my own fancy text and fonts to the admiralty rewards here on the video, so here's some screenshots which I've cut and cropped. Of course, we can't have fleets without some commanders, so slipping into HQ are 4 new Italian captains, the usual default commander, 2 cruiser commanders, and a single battleship officer, along with 4 new base traits and 3 new skills. Sadly, we don't have any word on what the exact skill makeup is of each commander, but here is what we do know. Inigo Campione acts as the default commander, which everyone will get to start with, and he features the base trait of Spartan, which reduces all incoming damage to your ship by 0.2% per rank up to a total of 4%. Francesco Mabelli checks in as Cruiser Commander number 1, his trait being Time to Make a Move, which reduces your cruiser's reload speed by up to 6%. And he also features the I'm Not Insane as his special skill. This reduces your torpedo range by 40%, but increases the torpedo speed by up to 7 knots, and concealment by up to 200 meters, depending on the rank. Moving on to Cruiser Captain number 2, we have Luigio Sanzonetti. His base trait is Aegis, which reduces the damage received by your cruiser by up to 6%. And he has a unique skill named Subtle Manipulations, which was teased last week. This essentially turns your AP shells into SAP shells, as it reduces the fuse time by 9%, increases your AP damage by up to 10% depending on the rank, at the expense of 5% worse shell grouping. This essentially waves adios to overpens on cruisers and battleships, so rejoice on that front, but then the flip side is you might not get as many citadels, so commiserations on there. The final Regia Marina commander is Paulo D Rivel, whose base trait Times of the Essence is essentially Time to Make a Move, but for battleships, which decreases your reload speed by 6%. And more recently, some rather spicy Jean Bart builds taking shape. His unique skill is Artisan's Touch, which increases the fuse time of your battleship's AP shells by 10%, improves penetration rating by up to 10%, depending on the rank. Now obviously this is a bit of a double-edged sword. Whilst you will be able to penetrate battleships more easily, it does mean you'll be overpaying light armor tags such as cruisers more often too. The fun with the commanders and skills doesn't just stop there, however. All players that have achieved account level 7 will get 2 universal accommodations, and those that have Nikolai Kuznetsov and Stepan Makarov will also receive an additional accommodation for each of those commanders. This is because one of their main skills has been moved to the legendary slots. Yes, Equilibrium Power has been nerfed. It now also features a 2% flat reduction to your base fire chance, and as I mentioned just then, it is now located in the legendary skills slot, but it is also available for Norman Scott and Thomas Kincaid, which means US light cruisers will be able to utilise this skill too. Although please, for the love of Oleg, don't use this skill on your heavy cruisers. It's a waste of a skill slot. And if you do that, I will come down and sink you myself. Moving the skill to the legend section means that players will have to make a choice between the fast reload of Refill Station, more consumables of Fully Packed, or the skill that nobody uses, by the book. Speaking of those skills, we have some reworked legendary skills. I've got to pause the gameplay here momentarily so we can focus on these changes. You can read through them carefully, as there is quite a bit of important information which you need to pay attention to. All the legendary skills have had an additional effect added to them, so this is an effect in addition to the normal skills presented on the screen. Now these effects will only become active if you are in proximity of an allied ship where it specifies, or a detected enemy ship where it specifies. Unfortunately, the problem of Wargame not trust the CCs enough not to copy and paste stuff around the internet strikes again here, so we have to go with some edited screenshots for our advanced copy of the patch notes to help me explain. As you can see, we've got a list of both sets of skills. We've got the skills on the left, which require you to be near an allied ship, and the skills on the right, which require you to be near an enemy ship. For the allied ships, at Legendary 1, you can be no more than 1.5 kilometers away for the skill to take effect. If you go beyond that range, at Legendary level 1, you'll lose its effect. Legendary 2, you can get up to 2 kilometers. Legendary 3, it's 2.75. And at maximum rank Legendary 4, it's 3.5. And the skills that are affected by being close to your allied ships is Fully Packed, which speeds up the consumable reload rate by 30% when in proximity of an allied ship. Will to Rebuild, which automatically activates a repair party effect if the ship's hit points is lower than 20%, independently of whether the consumable is available or not. Restoration occurs at a rate of 0.5% of the ship's maximum hit points per second when in proximity of an allied ship. So what that will do, that when your hit points drop below 20%, it will regenerate 0.5% of your hit points back up to the point which you get 20% of your hit points in total. So if you drop to say 15%, it'll regenerate up to that 20% and then stop, and then if you drop below that again, it'll regenerate so on and so forth. Then there's Rather Be Torching, which shortens your destroyer's increased detectability time by 30% after firing your main guns. So rather than being detected for 20 seconds after firing your guns, you'll only be detected for 14. By the Book reduces incoming damage to your cruiser by 20%. Refill Station increases your cruiser's maximum firing range by 10%. Smogathon increases your torpedo speed by 10 knots. And Farsight, which reduces incoming torpedo damage to your ship by 30%. For skills which require you to be nearby to an enemy, the ranges are as follows. At Legendary 1, it is 3 kilometers. At Legendary 2, it's 4.5. 6 kilometers at 3, and 7.4 at maximum. Take note, this only works with detected enemies. So if there is no detected enemies within your radius other than an enemy destroyer, and that destroyer goes dark, then you will lose the benefit of this skill. Skills that require you to be close to an enemy are as follows. Unstoppable, which speeds up your damage control party cooldown by 50%. Give Me Speed, which increases your destroyer's maximum speed by 10%. Leviathan, which decreases the rudder shift time by 20%. And Running with Scissors, which increases your battleship's main gun shell damage by 15%. I'm really not sure how I feel about these skills, if I'm totally honest. Some of them sound extremely powerful, and while it is certainly going to shake the meta, it might lead to some people running suboptimal builds and making stupid decisions in order to get the effects active, i.e. YOLOing or just sitting on the back of the map even more, having all the battleships conglomerated in the corner. That's not going to be very fun, but oh well. Moving on to the Transformers collaboration, which will be available in the store from the 18th of September until the 5th of October. You'll be able to purchase 4 new commanders and the 4 new camouflages directly, as well as also have the option of playing Lucky Dip with crates for flags, camos, and the commanders themselves, and they'll come with a couple of other bits and pieces. The skins themselves are animated both in port and in battle for extra pizzazz, and the commanders have unique English-only voiceovers. The camouflage will be available for Iowa, Fletcher, Bismarck and Tashkent, and the commanders themselves will be Optimus Prime, who's taken charge of USS Iowa. His base trait is Reconstructor, and that reduces your repair party cooldown by up to 6%. And he also has a special skill, Revocation Protocol, which shortens the duration of fires on your ship by 5 to 20% depending on the rank, and decreases the spotter cooldown time by 10 to 30% again depending on your rank. Optimus is supported by fellow Autobot Bumblebee, who takes command of Fletcher. His specials are Overboost, which as a base trait increases the duration of your engine boost by up to 20%. His skill is Calculated Inversion, which decreases your rudder shift time by 40 to 70%, boosts acceleration by 40 to 100%. Both those are affected by the rank, at the cost of a reduction in your smoke screen duration by 30%. Leading the charge for the Decepticons, taking command of Bismarck, we have Megatron, and his special base trait is Cyber Lens, which increases the main gun firing range of your battleship by up to 6%. He also shares the Revocation Protocol skill with Optimus Prime. And last but not least, we have Rumble, who sets their flag onto Tashkent, with Robotic Breath increasing your destroyer's main gun firing range by up to 6%, as well as having the Bumblebee skill, Calculated Inversion. And the French destroyers are also fully researchable, so you'll be able to get your hands on the full tech tree from Fusilia to La Fantasca, the latter of which can exceed well over 50 knots with a full speed boost. And the new stuff just keeps on coming. You will now be able to craft permanent camouflages by converting consumable camouflages into paint, which is a new currency. The amount of paint obtained by converting varies by the camouflage, but the amount of paint required to craft a permanent camouflage and upgrade said camouflage remains the same. Camouflages will come into 4 grades, grade 1 through 4. To make a grade 1 camouflage, you'll need to melt down your chosen camouflage into at least 75 paint, and this will offer a permanent camouflage at grade 1, which gives a 0.5% increase to your concealment and dispersion of incoming enemy fire. This can be upgraded to grade 2 for 150 paint, which improves those numbers to 1.5% each. Grade 2 to 3 takes 250 paint and buffs that to 3%. And then grade 4 increases that to 4.5% for 350 paint. The patch notes do mention about duplicate camouflages, but the wording for me was a little difficult to understand, and I don't want to reinterpret it into a different way for it to turn out to be utter bullshit. So here is a pretty graphic screenshot from our advanced guide with the patch notes to demonstrate the process. I'll try and cover this feature in a bit more detail and depth once I've had time to play around with it on Monday, so tune into my stream then, during the daytime, to go through that. While this certainly is a nice feature, particularly for those of you that have stockpiled camouflages and be able to convert them, I am really scratching my head as to why this is taking priority over several widely requested features such as Armor Viewer or more detailed statistics, but who am I to judge? On to the final leg and the various other improvements made during this update. We can finally convert boosters en masse. It's only taken the better part of a year for that to be implemented, but hey, it's here at last. In addition, Wargame intend to add 4 new premium ships to the store. Joining Roma in the Regia Marina, there will be the tier 4 battleship Luigio Sanzonetti, along with the tier 6 cruiser Duca degli Abruzzi, which will both be available in the store for doubloons, alongside tier 5 British heavy cruiser HMS London. In addition, available for 750,000 global XP, we have the tier 7 French battleship Gascoigne. Yes, Jean Bart is not making it into the store just yet, so we can all breathe a sigh of relief. Do take note, however, Wargaming have said that there's a chance that some of these ships may be postponed if needed, so if they don't appear, don't blame me. If you have any Liberty bonds left over from the US campaign, these will be converted at a rate of 7,500 credits each, and any unused personal accommodations for commanders are now listed on their portraits in the commander menu. Oh, this has turned out to be much longer than what I expected, but oh well. Anyway, these are the major headline changes for the update on Monday. For me, it's a very mixed bag. We've got a half-baked pizza line, we've got reinventing the wheel with camouflages, time which I feel could have been spent on other more useful features, but hey, whatever. And as for the legendary work, I really hope my former Super Tester colleagues held Wargame's feet to the fire over some of these decisions, because some of these skills look incredibly strong. Although I do appreciate that what was strong on Super Test might not necessarily reflect on live, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. All that's left for me to say now is thank you ever so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, please do leave a big thumbs up below and hit that subscribe button. It helps me out greatly. The more people that do that, the higher up it comes in the search engines and helps in the YouTube algorithms. It also means a lot to me as well. So yes, thank you all ever so much for watching again. Take care, bye for now, and I'll catch you next time. Ciao.